Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How is everyone doing? I hope you are in the best of health, the best of states, as we continue on this adventure for the pursuit for meaning. Over these past few weeks, we have attempted to uncover a very important topic that we all have in our life, which is the answer for the ultimate questions of our life. And we have started off this entire series by looking at the claimants of those who say they can answer this question. Number one, the first claimants is science, and then we had philosophy, and then in the last episode we were talking about religion or revealed religion. When we looked at science, we unpack science in broad strokes. Of course, we look at the philosophy of science and how science, what is the foundation element in how science thinks. And while we were discussing that, we saw it was limited, that it was not capable of giving us complete certainty in these ultimate questions of our life. Namely, why do we exist? No scientist will be able to answer this question. They will have different hypotheses. Everyone have different hypotheses. But most of it, when you look at most scientists or atheist scientists, they will say that our life is meaningless. Some scientists even pose a possibility that we do not really exist. We are just atoms randomly bouncing off each other. And this is all just an illusion. And then we have philosophy, and how philosophy attempts to give us meaning or attempts to give us thinking, a right way of thinking in looking at the world. But one of the failures of philosophy is that in every different philosophy, no matter how technical they may be, there will always be an argument against it. You will always be able to break down philosophy. One argument can go against the other, and so on and so forth. And why is philosophy important? Is because a lot of the thinking we have today is influenced by philosophy. What is the philosophy of today? What drives the way we think today? It is all influenced by philosophy. But whose philosophy are we following? Whose understanding in looking at the world are we following? And it's something which I want to be able to share that we need to look at. We need to discover, why do we think the way we think? And is it right? Or are we not looking things in the best way? And after looking at philosophy and science, we then went on to reveal religion. And the author of the Quran Foundation of Society, Scholar Hamza Yusuf, he gave us an example of what is a revealed religion, or a scientific experience of what is likened to a revealed religion. He used the planets as an example, and how scientists have looked at one spot as long as they could, waiting for a planet to reveal themselves, just for a short time. And when the planet reveals themselves, they observe whatever they could take. They take whatever information they could take from that planet, and until it moves away from the telescope, that's where it vanishes out of the purview of science. And this is something like our what religion is there were moments of time where God sent spiritual luminaries to show us the way forward, to show us human examples of how do we live our life in different ages, in different times. Every single civilization in human history have experienced such a spiritual luminary in one way or another. Religion, when coupled with science and philosophy, that is where it will give the human being an understanding of why they are here in this world today, what are they doing here, and where they are going. And one of the key things which we discussed the last time was meaning. What is meaningful in our life? So for this episode, we will be looking at a short video of Scholar Hamza Yusuf, speaking about this matter. Let's go.
And he asked me about that concept, sa'ada. And I told him, that in the Islamic tradition, happiness is not a state. It's not something you can be in. Like, you can't be happy. You can feel happy, but you can't be happy at any point in your life. That happiness is the sum total of your life. It's the result of your life. Whether you lived a happy life or whether you lived a miserable life. And that's based on what you did in your life. According to the Greeks, it was about virtue, living what they called arete, which was a life of excellence. The word they use for it means the same as ihsan. Raghib al-Isfahani and Imam al-Ghazali said that happiness is, and Imam al-Ghazali is heavily influenced by Raghib, so it's probably better to say Raghib al-Isfahani. Raghib al-Isfahani, who was a great ethicist, he was a mufassir, he was many things. He was one of these great ulama of Islam.
We'll look at Imam Ghazali soon, but I just want to give you some perspective. I want to give you some understanding to the words we're using here. He was using, one of the words is mufassir, is a person who expounds on the meanings of the Quran, and the ulama is a scholar or a great scholar of the deen.
But he said that the whole purpose of life is happiness. There's no other purpose. The purpose of life is sa'ada. And sa'ada, happiness, unlike anything else in life, is an end, not a means. Everything else is a means. If you ask people what they want, average people that haven't thought about things deeply, if you just say, what do you want out of life? Well, I want to have a family. I want to be successful. I want to get a degree. I want to make lots of money. Whatever. They give you lots of different reasons. But if you ask people, and then you begin to probe that, why do you want money?
Yeah. Try this with children. Try this with young adults or teenagers, and ask them, like, what do you want to be what do you want to achieve in your life? And it's very interesting, and it's something we should try. When we ask our children and our families, like especially young kids, and it will reveal something very interesting about them, who and what you are. Ask yourself questions. I remember one of my teachers. He said that you need to ask yourself questions until you reach the very end, where there's no more answer. And what is that answer? That answer is you. What I mean by you is this you-ness in this world. Is this something which you want to live by? So I think we can do it for everyone, even for ourselves. Like, what is our final answer? Why do we do the things we do? And we go back. We go, why? Right to the very end. What is your ultimate why?
Well, it enables me to be free. I can do things that you can't do without money. Why do you want to be able to do things? And if you keep probing, the end result is always happiness. Because they want to be happy. They want to be in a state of contentment. So that is the essence of what humans are out for. But most people don't know it. And then they don't understand the difference between real and apparent goods. Like people think that fame is a good in itself. So there's all these people that want to be famous. They want to be known. Or they think that stature is a thing that it's good to have. Or they think money. I want money because money gives me power. Money gives me... And so they'll sacrifice real goods for what they deem to be the ultimate goods in life. And that's why people sacrifice their families. Families break up over inheritance. Because money to them is more important than the family.
I've seen this happen so many times. I've seen money becoming a source of so much destruction. I see friends breaking apart, long-term friends. I see families breaking apart. I see one of the things which I was just reflecting when I look at some of those people who are experiencing this, and I watched when watched a video. So I saw a video of these people maybe like 40 years ago when they were much younger, and how they were cheering each other on. Yeah, let's go, supporting each other, and they were happy, they were hugging each other. In the time they were no worries, they were happy, they were they were together. And then 40 years on, they hate each other. What led to that? Why, what led these people who loved each other? When you looked at them, for sure they loved each other. For sure, they cared about each other. But what led them from that state to be where they are? If you were to speak to those people 40 years ago and say, guys, 40 years on, you guys will be hating each other, you'll be cursing each other, you can't stand each other, and you know why? Because of money. You guys fought because of money. If you speak to your friends who you lost because of money, you ask them, you tell them one day, back then when you were still friends, you say one day we'll break apart because of money. People can't imagine that, but it's real. And when you value money more than relationships, and you cannot look beyond this apparent this apparent goods in our life, that's where the meaning all breaks down. Especially when we don't have true meanings, true understandings in our life. We don't put things in its proper place. That's where lots of things can break apart. Lots of things can break apart. Carry on.
But the real good is the family, because you can have all the money you want, but if you don't have family, you're deprived of one of the most essential goods in life, which is that support system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave humans. I mean, family is at the root of what life is about. And many, many other examples of that. So this is one of the real problems with humans, is that they don't know what they want. And what they think they want, if you probe them, they want it for the same reason that other people want other things. It's really amazing if you think about it. People want different things, but if you really probe them, it's because they want the same thing, which is sa'ada.
Happiness.
And then what Revelation does is it turns it on its head, that there's no sa'ada in the dunya. You can't get it, because no matter what you have, you can lose it. And that's that state of just knowing that.
No matter what you have, you can lose it. I think that's a very profound statement. And it's very profound things to think about. How many people do we have seen? They are in the best of health, and they just go. How many people had mega businesses, so much money, and it's all gone? How many people do we know that are superstars who have committed suicide? Happiness cannot arrive. We cannot achieve complete happiness in this world. It's an impossibility. Why? Because happiness is reserved in the end. And how do we get this real happiness is the question. And this should be one of our pursuits of our life. in attempting to live our life in the best version of ourselves is because we want to achieve this happiness, and not this temporal world happiness where it's fleeting all the time, where we can lose ourselves all the time, but this complete and ultimate happiness, which is withheld for those people who did the best they could in this world. So I think it's best that we stop here, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you everybody for watching The Pursuit for Meaning. And if you enjoyed and appreciated what we have put out here, you will help us a lot for you guys to like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you want to join our little community we are building, the links to the Discord is in the description below. Thank you. Bye.